Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Green Golf Podcast. My name is Brian Mahoney, and I will be your host going forward. I just wanted to start off by giving a little intro about myself and kind of why I'm starting this podcast. So, I just pretty much love everything about golf, playing golf, betting on golf, watching golf. Um, and I don't necessarily know where it started from. I played sports growing up, but never played golf as a youth kid growing up. And I played basketball, baseball, soccer, football, all that growing up, but never played golf. It wasn't until I got to college where I played golf kind of for the first time with a lot of my college buddies, and I ended up just getting the golf bug, and it just never left me. So I pretty much I've been betting on golf for, I would say, about 8 years now, and so I feel like I just learned a lot of the ins and outs, and I every week I just do a bunch of research on kind of which tournament the PGA Tour is playing that week, and kind of what stats and trends are going to be good for that week. So that's just kind of what I like to do, and that's my passion. So I figured might as well just start a podcast so I can talk to the golf community about it, and that's just pretty much it. I'm really excited to get this started and start this new journey. So appreciate all you guys joining along, and if you have ever any comments, questions, just please let me know, and I'll feel free to get back to you as soon as I can. Also, I just want to say I started my YouTube channel today. This is the very first day I started my YouTube channel. It's called Beyond the Green Golf Podcast. If you guys could please go to my YouTube channel, be my first subscriber. Once I post this video, like the video, leave a comment on what you liked, what you didn't like, who you think's going to win the Genesis Invitational this year. That would all be very greatly appreciated. So, all right, let's get started. So I want to start off by doing a quick review of last week's tournament, the WM Phoenix Open, a big party tournament leading up to the Super Bowl. I'm sure more of the general public saw the hole-in-one celebration, everyone throwing the beer on the course and everyone celebrating. So that was great. Sam Ryder and Carlos Ortiz hitting holes in one. So that was really good and exciting to watch. I want to just give a quick congratulations to Scotty Scheffler getting his first win of his PGA Tour career. I know Scotty's been contending quite a bit, almost getting it done, but just fell short a couple times in the past. But it was great to see him battle it out with Patrick Cantlay and get his first win at the WM Phoenix Open. I also wanted to make mention of Sahith Theegala. He made a big name for himself this week. He got a sponsor's invite to the WM Phoenix Open, and he sure made the most of it. He was pretty much contending all week, had a packed leaderboard right behind him, and he held strong all the way, and just fell a little bit short, but it was still such a great week for Sahith, and it's just going to be made a huge name for himself, and it just showed how great of a player he is. And going forward, he's going to be in the mix, and it won't be too long. He'll definitely be getting multiple wins on tour. So I also have a little story about Sahith. They were playing in we had a tournament back when I was living in California. Sahith played in the Bakersfield Open at the Bakersfield Country Club. I went there to watch my friend, buddy Stephen Hale play in the tournament. And so I was following him along, and he was pretty much wrapping up his day. And right by the 18th green, I look to my left, and I see Sahith Theegala just walking right after his tee shot, walking down the fairway. Absolutely no one following him. No one there. So I just decided, I got to watch one hole of Sahith. And so I just followed right along. But it's just pretty crazy to see that was only about 2 years ago, and he could be playing in a tournament and having no fans, absolutely nobody walking, following him, and then he goes and plays in the Phoenix Open and has mass crowds everywhere. So that was definitely a big stage for Sahith, and yeah, I just was glad to watch that, and wanted to congratulate both him and Scotty on a great week last week. So I have to start off by saying all my stats, pretty much stroke gain stats, and my models that I will be showing in future podcasts, all of this data is going to come from rickrungood.com. Rick Gaiman is here locally in Vegas, and I've had the opportunity to play a round of golf with him, as well as meet him a couple times and to talk about golf and kind of let him know I was interested in starting a podcast. And so Rick was kind enough to allow me to use his Rick Run Good database. And so I just want to let everyone know, just right off the bat, any strokes gain stats or models is going to be coming from Rick Gaiman's website, rickrungood.com. So if you guys can go and subscribe and to Rick's website, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we have the Genesis Invitational on tap this week. This is by far pretty right ahead of the Masters. The Genesis Invitational is my favorite tournament of the year by far. The reason being is I've been to that tournament. That was the first tournament I ever went to, PGA Tour tournament. That was back in 2014 when Bubba Watson won the Genesis Open for his first time. So I actually ended up going four different times to the Genesis Open. Well, actually in 2014, it was known as the Northern Trust Open. I wanted to say, was that... Let me do a quick check. Let's see, where's Bubba Watson on my thing here? Bubba. So yes, in 2000, all the way up until 2016, it was known as the Northern Trust Open. And starting in 2017, they went to the Genesis Open. So I started there. My first time there was 2014, saw Bubba win. And then the next time I went back was 2018 for the Genesis Open, and Bubba once again won that tournament. So the first two tournaments I ever went to, PGA Tour tournaments, all I knew was Bubba winning. That's all I knew. So I ended up going two more times in 2019 and 2020. So 2019 was the year with JB Holmes, beat out Justin Thomas, and then Adam Scott in 2020. So it's by far my favorite tournament. I know somewhat about the course, know the ins and outs, and so yeah, let's just take a deeper dive into this week's tournament. Let's see here. I wanted to just give you guys a little course info, or just kind of mention where the favorite spots are. I actually have a buddy that will be my golfing buddy Jesse will be there on Friday, and so we'll have some boots on the ground, and I will try to get some videos from Jesse or some info about what the players are looking like, or what's kind of going on at the course that we're just not really seeing on the TV broadcast. But there are a couple spots just from me going to the Genesis Open all these years that I wanted to let everybody know. If you are going to the tournament this year, there's a couple spots that are kind of my favorite spots to be at the golf course to watch golf. So the first one would be to the left of the par 4 10th drivable par 4. There's on the very left-hand side of the green, there's a section right there where you can watch. I just want to give a heads up warning. It is a little dangerous area for the fans, since some players are trying to drive the green. A lot of their safe misses is right here to the left of the green where kind of the fans section is. So you kind of need to have your head on a swivel to see if balls are coming in. thank God the year that we were there, we had our our buddy Dan, who is about 6'7", and so he could see the balls coming off the tee box if they were coming our direction. So he was kind of giving a forewarning to everyone that ball's coming, duck, duck, and so it definitely keeps you on your toes being in that spot. But I just like it if the ball does come in that area, you are right up next to the fans, and they have a little chip shot, tough chip shot, to get up on the green, to that very difficult green. But so that's one spot that I really like. The other spot would be to the left of the sixth green, the par 3 6 hole, which has the bunker in the very middle of it. I mean, you don't see very like ever any greens that have a bunker in the middle of it, so that hole itself is pretty exciting. And you get to once they're done with the green, they walk right to the seventh hole tee box, and so you get to see the putts on the green as well as the next driving tee shots. So I like that spot as well. And my third favorite spot has got to be the 18th green, the auditorium bowl seating. That is just a great experience getting there. Please make sure you get there. If you're waiting till the end of the day, you got to get there a little bit early because it starts getting packed, and sometimes they even close off the section if there's too many people in there. So if you're trying to follow some guys into the 18th green, just make sure you get there a little bit ahead of time. Let's see. Okay. I do have one more funny story about the Genesis Open before we get into the stats and kind of who I like this week. Bubba Watson, I can't remember what hole exactly it was, but we were sitting on, I believe it was the 12th, the par 4 12th. We were sitting on the right side of the fairway, and my buddy Dan had this little green tote bag that he was carrying around with him. He was sitting in one of those little small foldable chairs that you take with you. And so Bubba's drive ends up coming right at us, bounces in Dan's tote bag and stays right there. And so all the officials were telling us, don't touch it, leave the ball right there in the bag. And it was priceless because Bubba comes right up to us, and he felt the need or felt like he should give Dan a signature for kind of the ball coming in. And so Dan doesn't have any Sharpie or anything, so he's just kind of looking around. And I'm just the type of person that if I'm going to a golf tournament, I'm bringing a Sharpie with me. I'm bringing normally I like to buy a flag at the course, and that way I can get it signed. So this right here, I don't know if you guys are able to see that up close, but that is a Genesis Open flag that I bought when I was there in 2018. And I actually got it signed by Justin Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau, Aaron Baddeley, and Kevin Chappell. Those are the 4 guys that I got on there. So I couldn't have been more excited when I just got to speak a little bit to Justin Thomas after his round. He was going to the driving range. He's coming down the big hill going to the driving range. And I just stood there and was able to get a signature from him, and as well as Bryson. I mean, everyone was nice, but Bryson was actually able to take a few extra seconds to talk to me. So I really became a big fan of JT and Bryson, as well as Bads and Chappell after that happened. So thank you very much for that. All right. So let's see here. Let's talk about the Genesis Open. So the Genesis Invitational, sorry. So this week it's known as it's the strongest field that they've ever had. Like the 11, I think the stat is the top 11 guys in the world are all playing in this tournament, which is rare. You rarely get the all top 10 players in the world rankings to play in the same tournament. So this week I think I've seen 11 of the top players in the world, and 16 out of the top 20 are all playing this week. And so I think it's in the history of the Genesis Invitational, this is the strongest field that they've ever had. So just by that kind of information, I'm really looking for the top of the board this week. I'm not really looking for any long shots this week over like 100 to 1. Nothing that long of odds. I'll probably be keeping my card here kind of towards the top, and a couple sprinkles in that 30 to 50 range, somewhere about there. So everyone knows about the Kikuya rough and grass. You're going to hear that a lot this week. It's makes it very difficult. This week is going to be a very tough conditions, because I've seen videos of the greens, of how firm they are. I don't know if you guys saw the one video that PGA Tour, someone from the PGA Tour posted, where they just dropped the ball in the green and it just rolled all the way off. So the greens are really firm and fast this week. So it's not going to be like previous tournaments where it's just going to be a birdie fest and it's going to be 30 under par. This one is going to be very tough, and probably the winning score is going to be somewhere from 10 to 16 under par, somewhere in that range. So I know the Europeans, golf fans are definitely liking that a lot better this week, because I know with the PGA Tour and the Birdie Fest, that kind of, it's not exactly makes them too happy to see that week to week. So this will be a very tough test, major like test this week. So it is going to take some great golf. It's going to take some great golf to win this week. So let's see. Also, the greens. Obviously, they have the POA greens, which become very tricky. So I think a big factor this week that I'm going to look into is obviously people that like putting on POA greens, so that have good strokes gain stats on POA greens, because if you're not used to those, it can get really frustrating. And I think it's known as the most missed putts within 5 feet or from within 10 feet happen on this course and the POA greens. So if you don't like POA greens, it might be a frustrating week for you. So let's just take a look. Let's just take a deep dive into kind of the top of the board this week. And so I'm pulling out Rick Run Good's power rankings. And so obviously it's no surprise here, but the top player on the board is Jon Rahm. And he has been gaining over the last 50 rounds 2.49 strokes gain per round. The next closest person is Patrick Cantlay at 2.17 strokes gain per round. And then right after that is fairly big drop off. It goes to Cameron Smith is next at 1.66 strokes gain total. So pretty much you could just tell by the strokes gain stats, which are very key stats in golf betting, strokes gain total, that Rahm and Cantlay are obviously the two best players in this field. So let's go here. Okay. So unfortunately, on a week like this, it's tough, because it's hard to cancel out guys who you're gonna want to pick for that week. So you just kind of have to do a process of elimination to who you think is going to win that week. And so sad to say, or not sad to say, but pretty much it's not going to be, you're not going to really feel exactly comfortable with this, but I am going to not bet on Jon Rahm this week. I'm going to just bypass Jon Rahm, and we're going to go, let's see here. What is Jon Rahm's current odds right now? So Jon Rahm at DraftKings Sportsbook right now is 8-1 odds. So that, I just, with how Jon, I mean, he's obviously been playing great, even without his best stuff. He's still, what are his recent finishes? Let's go here. So this is Rick Run Good's cheat sheet. So Jon Rahm, his most recent events: Waste Management Phoenix Open, he finished in 10th. Farmers Insurance Open, he finished in 3rd. American Express, he finished in 14th. Tournament of Champions, he finished 2nd. And course history, So the last 3 years he's played at the Genesis Invitational, he's finished in 5th, 17th, and 9th. So it's all the stats are pretty much saying that Jon Rahm is going to have a solid week this week. But I just don't feel with the way that Jon Rahm, it just doesn't seem like he's been clicking on all cylinders these past few weeks. And so with a price point of 8-1 for someone that's not really fully clicking on all cylinders, I'm just going to have to bypass him this week and hope Jon Rahm doesn't win. But so the 7 players before this tournament started that I kind of were thinking of to do a deeper dive in was Cantlay, Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Bubba Watson, Adam Scott, and Tony Finau. Those are just the guys from my experience, without even looking at any stats or anything like that, that I just kind of knew, all right, these guys like Riviera Country Club. They like playing at the Riv. They like Poa Greens, and all these guys have had good course history here. So those are the guys that I just kind of wrote down at first and wanted to do a deeper dive into. So let's first look at Patrick Cantlay. So Patrick Cantlay, I feel like in the most 4 past tournaments, he's been by far the best player in the world. So his past finishes, his last 4 tournaments, Century Tournament of Champions, that was in January, he finished 4th. You go to the American Express, he finished 9th. You go to the ATT Pebble Beach Pro-Am, he finished T4, tied for 4th. Last week, Waste Management Phoenix Open, solo 2nd. So Patrick Cantlay has just been absolutely on fire. And his strokes gained total for this 2022 season, I'll start from Century. Century, he gained 6.87 strokes total. Century, the American Express, 9.25. ATT Pebble Beach Pro-Am, 11.17. WM Phoenix Open, 12.91. So he is just going on an upward trajectory with his strokes gained total over the last 4 weeks. So that's just great to see. And normally on average, what I've read from Joe Pita, who I also have his book right here, the Masters Preview, Joe Pita, he's really good with the strokes gained. He said on average, for you to win a golf tournament, you need to have somewhere in the range of 13 to 14 strokes gained for that week. So you could tell the last 2 weeks where Patrick Cantlay has gotten really close to winning. Pebble Beach, he finished tied for 4th. He had 11 strokes gained that week. WM Phoenix Open last week, he had 12 strokes gained this past week. So he's getting real close to winning, and that win might come this week at the Genesis Invitational, because Patrick Cantlay is a local kid. He went to college at UCLA, so he's actually played this course quite a bit, and he's admitted he likes playing this course a lot. So let's see here. So that was Patrick Cantlay. He's the number 1 player this week. He's my number 1 rated player this week. The second player I want to go into is Collin Morikawa. So Collin Morikawa, obviously everyone knows, has just been a ball striking machine. His approach game is just probably the best on the PGA Tour right now. It is the best. It's him, and then I want to say Justin Thomas is probably the next best person on approach. So I just wanted to I've heard, and I'm sorry, I don't know exactly where this came from or where I found this tidbit, but either Collin Morikawa's caddy or Collin Morikawa's swing coach or mental coach told someone from the PGA Tour media that Collin Morikawa absolutely loves Poa Greens, and he loves playing the Genesis, and eventually he said something along the lines of, his caddy confirmed or was pretty confident that Morikawa will win the Genesis Invitational Open Genesis Invitational, sorry, fairly soon. So the only thing that worries me about Morikawa is he only has 2 years playing this tournament. Normally, for this course, it's known that I think there's some trend that, let me see if I can find it really quick for you guys. This was provided by PGA Splits 101 on Twitter, and it is called, let's see, 15 of the last 16 winners had played in at least 4 previous Genesis Invitationals. So that's a pretty good stat right there. And that pretty much, with these POA greens and how difficult it is to putt around here, it pretty much states that you need to have a few kind of rundowns with this course before you're actually able to pull off that victory. And I know Morikawa and Hovland are obviously kind of beating that trend of their start of their careers and winning so much so early, but for the Genesis Invitational, that was just one little worry I had about Morikawa. But other than that, everything seems pretty solid. So let's just take a deeper dive into Collin Morikawa really quick. So Collin Morikawa, in 2022, he played Century Tournament of Champions. He finished T5 there, and he gained 5.87 strokes. Then he played Abu Dhabi. We don't really have, since he played in the Euro Tour, we don't really get too many strokes gained stats for those 2 weeks for the Abu Dhabi and the Dubai Desert Classic. So all we pretty much see for those 2 weeks off Rick Run Good's database is he had in Abu Dhabi negative 2.55 strokes gained total. So that was not a very good week for Collin there. But then he had a nice bounce back the next week. Dubai Desert Classic had a total of 7.98 strokes gained. Let's take a look at his... So this is what I really like about Morikawa and his Genesis Invitational, the 2 years he's played there. He only has a T26 and a T43 finishes, so it's not the greatest finishing positions, but what I do like about Morikawa is in 2020, Morikawa on his strokes gained approach had 6.34 strokes gained approach that week. And you go to the next year, Collin had 7.52 strokes gained approach for that week. So if Collin could just figure out, and then tee to green stats that week, 2020, 5.26, and in 2021 he had 7.97 strokes gained tee to green. So he's getting close with just his approaches. But if Morikawa can just gain a little bit off the tee, if he could, strokes gained around the green is really important this week, and so he's had negative strokes gained around the green, and especially putting. The last year Morikawa in 2021, he had negative 7.55 strokes gained putting. So for that week, he's pretty much a flat even. He only gained 0.41 strokes gained that week. So I just like the fact that Morikawa, he likes POA greens. His approach game is really strong. And if he could just figure out a little bit off the tee and around the greens, and if his putter is just average that week, Morikawa's going to be right there in the mix. So I definitely like Morikawa, and he's my second favorite player this week. The next one, of course, is Dustin Johnson. So Dustin obviously has maybe in addition to Bubba, he's got the best course history here by far. He's played it so many times. He's so familiar with it. He has all the strokes gained, the best strokes gained stats here at this tournament. So let's go to Dustin Johnson. The thing that does worry me about Dustin Johnson is he hasn't played too much recently. His last event that he played was on February 6th at the Saudi International. And before that, it was on January 29th at the Farmers Insurance Open. So it's just, I kind of like if a player has at least recent weeks playing leading up to this tournament, but it's definitely not, I mean, it's not a end all. So let's just look at it from Dustin Johnson's Genesis Invitational course history. So let's see here. So let's go back to 2014. These are all Dustin Johnson's finishes at the Genesis Invitational. So in 2014, Dustin Johnson finished second place. 2015, tied for second. 2016, fourth. 2017, he won. 2018, tied for 16. 2019, tied for 9th. 2020, tied for 10th. 2021, tied for 8th. So in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the worst finish DJ has at the Genesis Invitational is a tied for 16th. That is amazing. That is just rock solid. It's hard to not bet DJ this week just by kind of going off that. And going back to 2014, these are his strokes gained total over the years. 2014, 13.36 strokes gained total. 2015, 11.95. 2016, 12.89. 2017, 16.50. 16.50. 2018, 6.33. 2019, 8.11. 2020, 7.97. 2021, 7.41. So pretty much it's just green all the way across the board, and DJ is just really strong this week. So I am backing DJ this week, and he is my third favorite on the board. The next player, which is probably my second favorite player in addition to Tony Finau. I am a big Tony Finau fan, so let's just get that right off the bat. Tony is my favorite golfer on the PGA Tour, so I'm always locked into whatever Tony's doing. So let's see, my next favorite player has got to be Justin Thomas. So let's take a look into Justin Thomas this week. So Justin Thomas, let's see. So if you go and look at Justin Thomas's golfer profile on rickrungood.com, you could see under the splits section, putting surfaces, what's it called? Justin Thomas by far likes putting on POA greens other than any other surface. His strokes gained average on POA surfaces is 0.37 compared to the next best green putting surfaces for Justin Thomas is bent grass at 0.10. So Justin Thomas definitely likes putting on POA greens. So let's come down here, take a look at his recent events and kind of where his strokes gained have been. So Justin Thomas, he's played, let's see here, in 2022, he's played 3 tournaments. Century Tournament of Champions, he finished T5th, gained 5.87 strokes total that week. Next tournament he played was Farmers Insurance Open. JT finished T20th that week with 6.61 strokes gained total. Last week he played the WM Phoenix Open. He finished T8th for 9.91 strokes gained total. So once again, you can see that JT is kind of on that upward trajectory of his strokes gained total. Let's take a look at, and I mean everything has been pretty rock solid for JT except the putter. Once he gets that putter hot, JT is gonna win a golf tournament by far, by multiple strokes. So let's just take a look into JT's course history here. So this does worry me a little bit, but it's not stopping me from kind of backing Justin Thomas this week. the last 2 times he's played the Genesis Invitational, he's actually missed the cut. So the year before that, in 2019, was the year he finished in second place, right behind JB Holmes. And I know Justin Thomas was really frustrated with that finish, and I don't know if it was JB Holmes' slow play or what exactly was going on. But yeah, that was a very frustrating finish for JT. So let's see. In 2019, where he finished second place, pretty much he only lost strokes gained off the tee. Everything else across the board was pretty much all green. And that week he finished with 14.11 strokes gained total. So that's how you know on an average, if you gain 13 to 14 strokes gained per that week, you should be pretty close to winning. So which is exactly where JT was, finished in solo second. So let's see here. So JT, it does worry me a little bit that he's missed the last 2 cuts, and when you're watching him at the WM Phoenix Open, he's kind of working on his driver. He had a couple loose driving swings, so he's trying to figure out his swing plane, what's going on with that. But that's the thing about Justin Thomas and the Jon Rahms, is even though they're not playing, they don't have their A games, these guys are still just so good that they still finish in the top. Like JT is last, so he didn't have his A game at the WM Phoenix Open, still finished T8th. So that's just how good these guys are. If they can just get the putter going, make sure the driver's a little bit more accurate this week, JT will be right there in the mix. So let's see, who's the next golfer we're going to go into? Bubba Watson. So obviously Bubba has great course history here. He's won 3 times in 2014, 18, and what was, let's see, was it 20? So 2014, 2016, and 2018. That's right, all the even years for Bubba. Okay, so let's go and take a deeper dive into Bubba this week. So Bubba Watson. So let's look at his strokes gained putting stats. So on POA greens, Bubba is gaining 0.23 strokes gained. And that's how you know Bubba just loves putting on POA greens. The next closest is bent POA at 0.06. Other than that, it's bent grass at negative 0.28 and Bermuda at negative 0.13. So obviously Bubba, the only really positive that he has is POA greens. So Bubba knows this course very well. He's very familiar with the greens, and he's played well the past 2 weeks. Let's take a look at his most recent finishes. So, oh yeah, that was such a cool moment. So Bubba, in the only 2 tournaments he's played in 2022 were the Saudi International, and that's where he came in second place. Bubba got the eagle on the 18th hole, par 5, does a huge fist pump. He's all happy. It really did look like he was going to get that win until his buddy HV3 comes with the eagle bomb on 18 to win by 1 and had that great celebration. I watched the whole round, and so just to see that putt go in, man, it really made me kind of just get out of my chair and was like, whoa, and had to text some buddies about it, but was really happy for HV3. But the coolest thing was how congratulatory Bubba was. Bubba went running down to the green as soon as he saw the putt go in, and was there to congratulate HV3 for HV3's the win that was long coming. I believe he had 1 win on the Australian tour or something like that. So this was his kind of first big win for HV3. So really happy about that. So Bubba, last in the Saudi International, Bubba had 14.91 strokes gained that week. So once again, in that 13 to 14 range, you should be close to winning. Bubba finished solo second. So then last week, Waste Management Phoenix Open, which Bubba loves playing at that course as well, TPC Scottsdale. He finished T14th, and he had 7.91 strokes gained total, with 7.74 strokes gained approach, which is the most Bubba's had by far that I can even see, going back until 2020. So yeah, in about a year, over a year, that was Bubba's best strokes gained approach week. So that's really encouraging. So Bubba is definitely a guy. He's playing well recently. Great course history. It's hard not to like Bubba this week. So let's move on. Only got 2 more golfers left. Adam Scott, obviously, is one guy that I got to talk about. Scotty. Let's see here. So Adam Scott, he's obviously made it well known that he only wants to play like fewer tournaments in the year, and only tournaments that he really likes, and is pretty much thinks he's gonna be able to contend at. And obviously with 2 prior wins at the Genesis Invitational, Adam Scott definitely is a course horse, you would say. So let's take a look. And once again, Adam Scott's best putting surfaces is POA greens, 0.13 strokes gained on POA, compared to the next best 0.06 on bent POA. So we come down, look at Bubba. Let's see, or sorry, Adam Scott. We're on to Adam Scott. So let's go and look at Adam Scott's recent history. Let's see here. Is this Adam? Okay, so Adam had 2 really good weeks in Abu Dhabi. He finished T10th at the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship, and he gained 8.45 strokes gained. Next week, he played in the Dubai Desert Classic. He finished T9th, 9.98 strokes gained total. Last week was a little off week for Adam. I know a lot of people were picking him, thinking he could have a good solid week, but Adam, it looks like he finished T38 and only gained 1.91 strokes gained total. So it's not a very good recent week, but Adam, definitely a guy who is long off the tee, likes this course, obviously. Let's see how he's done recently at the Genesis Invitational. So last year, or let's see, going back to 2016. So that week, Adam Scott finished tied for second, and he gained 13.89 strokes gained total that week. 2017, he finished T11th. 2018, tied for 53. 2019, he finished tied for 7th, 9.11 strokes gained total. Let's see. The 2020, that's when Adam Scott got his win. He finished with 11.97 strokes gained total that week. Last year was kind of a drop off. Finished T38th and only had 1.41 strokes gained total this week. But it's hard not to like Adam Scott with how well he's been playing, how much he likes this course, and how familiar he is with it, and just being a longer hitter off the tee. We like Adam Scott this week. So last but not least, got to put my boy Tony Finau on there. I would just not feel right if I do my first ever preview of the Genesis Invitational and I don't have my boy Tony Finau on there. So last but not least, Tony Finau. Let's take a deeper dive. I know from all the social media I follow on Tony Finau, he has stated multiple times that the Genesis Invitational and the Masters are his 2 favorite tournaments to play. So I just put that in the memory bank, knowing that Tony loves playing playing at Riviera Country Club, and so he's one I gotta be looking into this week. So let's just take a little bit deeper dive. Tony, everybody knows Tony is a great ball striker, great driving, but just struggles with the putter. But the thing is, once again, Tony loves putting on POA greens. His strokes gained total on POA putting surfaces are 0.18 strokes gained. The next closest after that is 0.07 at Bent Poa. So once again, favorite putting greens are Poa. So let's go look into his recent events at the Genesis Invitational. We'll go back to 2018. Tony finished T2. Let's see. That was a good week for Tony. He gained 12.28 strokes gained tee to green that week with a 12.33 strokes gained total, and he finished tied for second. Next year after that, 2019, tied for 15, 7.11 strokes gained total. The year after that, 2020, tied 51. That was kind of an off year for Tony. But then 2021, the most recent year, he finished in second place. That was the tournament where he goes to the playoff with Max Homa. Max Homa missed a little shorty birdie putt on 18 to win. Ends up going to a playoff. They play the 10th hole drivable par 4 10th, and Max's ball goes right up against a tree. So me having Tony tickets, backing Tony that week, I'm sorry, Max. I was cheering and happy and thinking, all right, Tony's going to finally get that win, the second win that he's been after. And unfortunately, Max was able to make a great par. Tony wasn't able to make his birdie putt. And they go to the next playoff hole, and Max was able to win with a par, and Tony got a bogey, I believe. So Tony has obviously been in the mix, finished second place twice here, likes the course. Tony's been in a little rough patch recently, but had a great kind of last round at the WM Phoenix Open, so I'm sure that would give him a little bit of momentum going into this week. But it's hard not to like Tony Finau this week, with just his kind of love for the golf course, and his past history here obviously shows he should be in contention here kind of over the weekend. So let's see, that wraps up pretty much the 7 golfers that I wanted to talk about. And now, me being here in Vegas and being very familiar with the sports betting odds, I kind of wanted to show you, or kind of just wanted to go through kind of my process for each week. And so I use BetMGM, Caesars, Circa, DraftKings, South Point, and Westgate. Those are the 6 sports betting apps that I use to bet on golf and to be able to shop the different odds kind of across the board. So myself personally, I like to take screenshots right when all the golf odds are released. I like to take screenshots of all the futures odds and put them into an Excel spreadsheet and kind of just come up with my own little database here myself. So for Patrick Cantlay, if you were to bet on Patrick Cantlay this week, and so this is all the opening odds. So the odds might have changed since I took this screenshot and put these into the databases, but for the most part, all these odds should be kind of around the same number. So Patrick Cantlay, if you were looking at the best number to bet on Patrick Cantlay, you should go to Circa if you're able to. If you're in Vegas, or if you have ability to bet on these apps, this is kind of the best place. So yeah, the best number on the board for Patrick Cantlay according to my database was going to be at Circa Sports, which is in downtown Vegas, and he's at 12.5 to 1 odds. So if you're looking to place a bet on Patrick Cantlay this week, head on over to Circa. And let's see, Tony Finau. He is my next golfer on my database here. So once again, if you're going across the board, the best place to go and bet Tony Finau when I took these screenshots was at 53 to 1 odds at Circa Sports. So let's go down to the next person, Dustin Johnson, on my list. I have it in alphabetical order, so that's why I'm going through here, my players here. So Dustin Johnson, if you were wanting to bet on Dustin Johnson this week, it looks like the best number on the board for him is 16 to 1 odds. So if you were to bet, for the general public, if you were to bet $100, you get back $1,600. So The best place to go and bet on Dustin Johnson would be either at BetMGM or at DraftKings. So if you have the ability to bet on either of those two, go look at those 16 to 1 odds for Dustin Johnson. All right, now we move on to Colin Morikawa. Colin Morikawa, it looks like the best number on the board for Colin is going to be 20 to 1 odds. And they actually have that at a couple different places. So that is at Circa, at DraftKings, and at South Point. So if you guys have access to any of those sports books, 20 to 1 looks like the best number you're going to find on Colin Morikawa this week. Let's see, keep going down. Adam Scott, 53 to 1, Circa Sports is the best number I'm seeing. Everywhere else has Adam at about 40 to 1, Circa 53 to 1. Lastly, second to last, Justin Thomas. It looks like 16 to 1 is going to be his best number across the board. And you can get that at a couple different places, actually. You could get that at BetMGM. You could get that at Circa and at the Westgate. Westgate, yep. Okay, so 16 to 1 looks like the best number on the board for Justin Thomas. And last but not least, Bubba Watson. He looks like 47 to 1 odds at Circa as the best number at the time when I wrote it down. And I believe I've seen recently that's actually gone maybe over the 50 to 1 range. So for a player like Bubba, who's won 3 times here, has the obviously loves playing, has all the strokes gained total stats here, course history, everything. It's hard not to like Bubba Watson this week. So that pretty much wraps up my 7 golfers that I like this week. Sorry it's kind of late in the week to get this out, but I just wanted to, I've been wanting to start this for a while, so I just thought the perfect week would be for the Genesis Invitational, the tournament that means kind of the most to me and the tournament I'm the most excited for. So if you guys can please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Be on the Green Golf Podcast. If you could like this video, comment who you think is going to win this week, comment with any constructive criticism or anything you liked about my video, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can and hopefully have another one of these videos up for next week for when the PGA Tour goes to the Florida swing at the Honda Classic. So all right, that'll do it for this week and this Genesis Invitational preview. Hope everyone has a good rest of your day and good luck this week. Thank you.